Hey guys, and welcome back for another content of Ragnarok M Classic. And in this video, we are going to have an in-depth explanation of the second line master skill of the Shadow Chaser. Master skill second line has already been out last week, but I think there are still some players who are hesitating to invest into it, since they don't know if the master skill is worth to invest. And that is why I made this series All You Need to Know About Master Skill 2. Take note that this server is CBT, and we are performing some testing here regarding the bugs that needs to be fixed, features that can be adjusted, and skills that can be overwhelming in terms of damage and performance. Shadow Chaser class is one of the most sneakiest class in this game, as they can hit you while they are hiding, can be a utility role that strips an equipment on an enemy. But for their second line of master skill, they have a different playstyle, and it is really different from what you view the Shadow Chasers are. So without further ado, let's start with the active skill, the Abyss Graveyard. Summons an Abyss to the ground, dealing neutral magic damage for every 0.5 seconds in a 3-meter radius. Damage is calculated as P attack plus magic attack that lasts for 5 seconds. The cooldown of the skill is only 5.5 seconds, so you can have 100% uptime spamming the skills. It's just like the deep blind trap of Rangers, kind of similar special effects that has a dark purple color and damage hits. Kind of lazy skill designing if you would ask me. And just like the other AoE ground skills, the Abyss Graveyard is not an exception to the land protector of Sages. Also, I just want to highlight the damage formula. It is both P attack and magic attack stats, which is really great for the endgame progression, as you can invest on both stats to increase its damage. And keep in mind that this is a magic damage, so you need magic damage increase, ignore MDef, and magic penetration. And if you are worrying about already invested in physical stats, the first passive of this master skill will compensate for it. Demon Slaying Dagger is when you equip a short sword, also known as Dagger, you gain an additional M damage increase, ignore MDef, and M-Pen values equivalent to one's own P damage increase, ignore def, and penetration of 80% as maximum. You can see the difference here when I equip a bow compared to when I equip the dagger. The M damage increase and the ignore MDef gets even higher, even if my gears are for physical stats. This way, you can deal good amount of physical damage with your auto attacks, and also magic damage with your master skill. Second passive is the Curse Summoning Cemetery, which gives you a chance to automatically activate the Abyss Graveyard during normal attacks, and the trigger probability is 100% of your Auto Shadow skill buff. So if you look at your Auto Shadow, when you max it out, it has a 13% chance, meaning the Auto Abyss Graveyard is also a 13% trigger chance. But it says here that if the skill copied of plagiarism of your Auto Shadow is a magic damage, like the Storm Gust, Meteor Storm, Metal Blast, etc., it adds another 10% chance that totals to 23% trigger chances, which is really good. So they really want you to use the magic damage skills. And the third passive, Fallen Abyss. When dealing damage with normal attacks and Abyss Graveyard, there is a 10% chance when max to summon a giant meteor dealing magic damage of attack plus magic attack times 5000% to enemies within the 5-meter radius of the target. So this will either be your main or secondary damage dealing skill at this point. That 5000% skill damage formula is huge actually, but you will be relying on RNGs. That is why this class build is either good and bad at the same time. You can see here, when I'm dealing normal attacks or even the Abyss Graveyard, there is a giant wave falling down that splashes to nearby enemies. That is the Fallen Abyss passive. My advice for the Shadow Chasers that are saving some zennies and they wanna know which skill to prioritize early on, this is just my opinion. First, as usual, go for the level 3 active skill, then level 1 for the first, second, and third passive. After that, for the mid investment, go for the 5, 5, 5, and then 3. Then for the pre-late game investment, go for the 8, 5, 5, and then 8. And of course, you need to max all of the master skill, as most of its skill level consists of trigger chances, so you need to max them out as soon as possible. It may cost a lot of zenny, so make sure to have save for it. Lapak Gaming is the most affordable top-up site that has a guaranteed safe transaction with a 10 times money back guarantee. They have a lot of games that you can top up discounted prices here like Mobile Legends, Ragnarok Origin, and of course the Ragnarok Classic. For example, here is the Abundant Zenny supply that costs for only 1,613.76 pesos in the Lapak Gaming, while if you are buying it in-game, it may cost for around 1,730 pesos. That is 117 peso discount. Then from here, choose the payment method, enter the character UID that is located on your in-game profile. After that, complete the payment process by clicking the buy now. That's easy, and you will get the product that you have purchased instantly after the payment is complete. So what are you waiting for? Click my link on the description and on the comments section, then top up now. Lapak Gaming, 10 times money back guarantee. Now for your auto skill setup, it's just a few skills. First will be the Prepare for Elite for the Auto Shadow and Enchant Poison. Next will be the Abyss Graveyard, and then Auto Attack. And that's it. So what are the pros and cons for this Abyss Graveyard? I could say that this build is really fun to use. For a player like me who likes proximity builds, this is for you. And for other pros for this build is the damage formula, as it requires the P attack and magic attack stats. Just like what I've said earlier, it's an endgame investment. Also, it has good AoE damage, best for crowd of mobs like Oracle and Constellation Tower. Now for the cons, I hate to say this but I got more negatives from this build. First one, the damage is not really that strong enough to compete. It may get high or low depending on the trigger chances. The trigger chances of the Fallen Abyss is much lower if you are hitting only one enemy. Because, if you will notice, if you cast the Abyss Graveyard on a crowd of monsters, each of these monsters has an individual chances of triggering the Fallen Abyss, which is why it is best for Oracle and Constellation Tower. However, if you are hitting only one enemy, it will have a lesser chance. Second one is that you are a Shadow Chaser, a sneaky class. However, if you are using the Master Skill 2, you will lose that ability. Unlike the Magic Trap that retains your hiding status while dropping the skill, the Abyss Graveyard does the opposite. It lets you unhide after casting the Abyss Graveyard, even if you don't hit an enemy. The worst part is, if you already casted the Abyss Graveyard, you can't return into hiding state or even use the Vanish skill. It's pretty bad. My first impression when I was just reading the skill from Cremacy is, this may be a new meta, because I think that you can just hide and drop the Abyss Graveyard. But when I played it firsthand, it just feels really different. It's kind of disappointing to be honest. And last thing, the skill is very useless against land protectors. You can't do anything. You will just auto attack. Unlike the traps of rangers, you can do the cluster bomb. Crimson Magic Arrow of Warlock, you can still deal the initial damage. And for Archbishops, they can still heal their allies even they are not dealing damage versus the land protector. For Shadow Chaser MS2, they just feel useless. It's still a fun build for PvE nonetheless. If you don't do PvP, I think this is a good master skill to invest in. On the CN server patch, they also buffed this skill because of how underperforming it is. And that's it. If you find this video helpful, then please leave a like. Also subscribe to support my channel. As always, thank you for watching, stay safe and have an awesome day. Lights out.